Welcome to economy class. We've all been there. You finally board your flight, eager to reach your destination. But first, you face the dreaded middle seat, wedged between strangers. Legroom? Forget about it. The tray table barely accommodates your elbows, let alone a meal. And don't even get me started on reclining etiquette. This, my friends, is the reality of modern air travel for the vast majority of passengers. Economy class, once a marvel of affordable transportation, has become synonymous with discomfort. But why? Is it pure corporate greed? Or are there practical reasons behind the shrinking seats and cramped quarters? The answer, as with most things in aviation, is complex. Airlines are locked in a fierce battle for passengers, and low fares are the most potent weapon. To keep ticket prices down, airlines squeeze as many seats as possible onto each plane. This means less space for you, the passenger. But it's not just about cramming bodies onto planes. Seat design, cabin layout, and even the air we breathe at 35,000 feet all play a role in the comfort, or lack thereof, of your flight. In the following sections, we'll delve into the science, economics, and psychology of air travel to understand why flying can be so darn uncomfortable. Now let's talk about those seats. The ones that feel like they were designed for someone half your size. The truth is, there's a lot more that goes into airplane seat design than you might think. Airlines consider factors like weight, durability, maintenance costs, and of course, passenger capacity. Remember, every inch of an airplane cabin represents potential revenue. A slimmer seatback might mean squeezing in an extra row, translating to higher profits for the airline. But this constant pursuit of efficiency comes at a cost: passenger comfort. And it's not just the seats themselves. The distance between rows, known as seat pitch, has been steadily decreasing for decades. What used to be a comfortable 35 inches has shrunk to as little as 28 inches on some airlines. That's less legroom than a standard school bus. Of course, not all airlines are created equal. Some carriers prioritize passenger comfort and offer more generous seat pitch and width, even in economy class. But these airlines often charge a premium for their services. Ultimately, the choice is yours. Endure the squeeze, or pay a little extra for a bit more breathing room. Once you're crammed into your seat and hurtling through the air at 500 miles per hour, a whole new set of discomforts awaits. Ever notice how airplane food just doesn't taste as good as it does on the ground? It's not just the quality of the food, though that's often a factor too. The low humidity and pressurized cabin environment at high altitudes dull our taste buds and reduce our ability to perceive sweet and salty flavors. That's why airline meals are often loaded with extra salt and spices, in an attempt to make them more palatable. Then there's the dreaded ear popping during takeoff and landing. This is caused by changes in air pressure. As the plane ascends or descends, the air pressure outside the cabin changes rapidly, while the pressure inside the cabin remains relatively constant. This difference in pressure can cause discomfort or pain in the ears. To alleviate ear pressure, try chewing gum, yawning, or swallowing. These actions help to open the eustachian tubes, which connect the middle ear to the back of the throat, allowing air pressure to equalize. For infants, breastfeeding or giving them a bottle during takeoff and landing can help. Beyond the physical discomforts, flying can also take a toll on our mental well-being. For some, the mere thought of being trapped in a metal tube hurtling through the air is enough to trigger anxiety. Others experience stress from the crowds, noise, and lack of control associated with air travel. This travel anxiety, known as aviophobia, is surprisingly common. It's estimated that up to 40% of people experience some degree of fear or anxiety related to flying. Symptoms can range from mild nervousness to full-blown panic attacks. Even if you don't suffer from aviophobia, flying can be an exhausting experience. The low humidity in airplane cabins can lead to dehydration, which can exacerbate feelings of fatigue. Jet lag, caused by crossing multiple time zones, can also disrupt our sleep patterns and leave us feeling groggy and disoriented. Section 5. Safety first, comfort second. The trade-offs of airplane design. Before you curse the airlines for prioritizing profits over passenger comfort, it's important to remember that safety is paramount in aviation. Every aspect of airplane design, from the seats to the overhead bins, must meet stringent safety regulations. Those cramped seats? They're designed to withstand incredible forces in the event of turbulence or a crash. The awkward brace position? It might feel unnatural, but it's the safest way to position your body during impact. Even the seemingly insignificant features of the cabin, like the shape of the windows and the placement of the lighting, are carefully considered from a safety perspective. For example, the rounded shape of airplane windows helps to distribute stress more evenly, reducing the risk of cracks or breaks. So while it's easy to complain about the lack of legroom and the uncomfortable seats, It's important to remember that these design choices are often driven by a commitment to keeping passengers safe in the air. Section 6. The Luggage Labyrinth. How bags get lost and found. We've all been there. You arrive at your destination, exhausted from your flight, only to discover that your luggage has decided to take an unexpected vacation of its own. Lost, delayed, or damaged luggage is an unfortunate reality of air travel, and it can quickly turn a dream trip into a logistical nightmare. But how do bags go missing in the first place? It's a complex process involving a network of conveyor belts, scanners, and human handlers, all working at breakneck speed to transfer millions of bags each day. With so many moving parts, it's no wonder that mistakes happen. Sometimes bags are misrouted due to human error, such as a baggage handler placing a bag on the wrong cart or entering an incorrect destination code. Other times, technical glitches in the baggage handling system can cause delays or misdirection. While you can't completely eliminate the risk of lost luggage, there are steps you can take to minimize the chances of it happening to you. Make sure your bag is clearly labeled with your name, contact information, and both your origin and destination airports. Consider using a brightly colored luggage tag or a unique ribbon to make your bag stand out from the crowd. While there's no magic bullet for eliminating all the discomforts of air travel, there are things you can do to make your journey a little bit more bearable. Here are a few tips for flying smarter, not harder. Choose your seat wisely. If you value legroom, consider paying extra for a seat in an exit row or bulkhead row. If you're traveling with a companion, try booking a window and aisle seat in the same row. If the middle seat remains empty, you'll have extra space. If not, you can always ask the person in the middle seat if they'd like to switch. Stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water before, during, and after your flight to combat the dehydrating effects of the cabin environment. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can further dehydrate you and disrupt your sleep. Pack smart. Bring a small bag or backpack with essentials like your phone charger, medications, a good book, and noise-canceling headphones or earplugs to block out the cabin noise. Move around. Get up and stretch your legs every hour or so to prevent blood clots and stiffness. As airlines continue to prioritize efficiency and low fares, it's unlikely that we'll see a dramatic reversal of the trend towards smaller seats and cramped cabins. However, there are glimmers of hope on the horizon. Some airlines are experimenting with new seat designs that maximize personal space without sacrificing capacity. For example, the staggered seating concept arranges seats in a zigzag pattern, allowing for more shoulder room and privacy. Other innovations focus on improving the in-flight experience, such as mood lighting, advanced air filtration systems, and high-speed Wi-Fi. While these features won't make the seats any bigger, they can help to reduce stress and make the journey more enjoyable. Ultimately, the future of air travel will depend on the choices we make as consumers. Are we willing to pay a premium for comfort and space? Or will we continue to prioritize low fares above all else? The answer to that question will determine the fate of our flying experience. While we're on the topic of uncomfortable truths, it's impossible to ignore the environmental impact of our insatiable appetite for cheap flights. Aviation is a significant contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, and as air travel continues to grow, so too does its carbon footprint. The environmental cost of flying is a complex issue with no easy solutions. Airlines are investing in more fuel-efficient aircraft and exploring alternative fuels, but these efforts alone are not enough to offset the industry's growing emissions. As passengers, we have a role to play in reducing the environmental impact of our travel choices. Consider flying less frequently, choosing direct flights whenever possible, and offsetting your carbon emissions through reputable programs. The future of sustainable air travel will require a collective effort from airlines, governments, and individuals. By making conscious choices about how and how often we fly, we can help to minimize the environmental impact of our journeys. Flying can be a stressful and uncomfortable experience, from the cramped seats to the recycled air and the inevitable delays. But it's important to remember that flying is still a privilege, a marvel of engineering that allows us to connect with people and places across vast distances. By understanding the factors that contribute to our discomfort, we can approach air travel with a more informed and realistic perspective. We can pack smarter, choose our seats strategically, and practice techniques to alleviate anxiety and jet lag. Most importantly, we can choose to focus on the positive aspects of flying. The thrill of takeoff, the breathtaking views from 35,000 feet, and the anticipation of arriving at our destination. After all, the journey is just as important as the destination.